reputation.
Radio personality Howard Stern has shocked the nation by announcing his candidacy for governor of New York State.
I absolutely believe that I will beat Mario Cuomo. I will certainly beat any Republican candidate. I am the king of all media. That is the truth. That is a fact.
The self-proclaimed king rules an empire of 16 million listeners in 15 cities from coast to coast. They tune in to hear Stern's unique mix of titillation, salaciousness, and pointed social satire. The multi-talented Stern also rocked the publishing world with a bestseller, Private Parts, that sold over 1 million copies. Stern has also shared his success with the less fortunate. His New Year's television special took in $15 million, but also raised millions for the medical expenses of penile reattachment poster boy John Wayne Bobbitt. Yet there are those who would silence Stern. The Federal Communications Commission fined his employer, Infinity Broadcasting, $1.67 million for what they called obscenity. But is Stern a guttermouth or a golden boy? Who is this figure of controversy, this renegade? Howard Stern was raised in the sprawling suburb of Roosevelt, Long Island, the only son of Ray and Ben Stern, a homemaker and a radio engineer. Stern compared his boyhood to being raised like a veal. It was like growing up in a box with no lights. Howie grew up surrounded by a quiet, older sister, an overprotective mother, and a gruff father whose motto was, "Shut up, sit down, you moron." Seeking refuge from his loneliness, young Stern created a fantasy world of obscene puppet shows. High school was no better. The adolescent Howard, a shy, polite youth, was beaten up regularly by ruffians. Stern recalls wishing that Charles Manson was his mother, because at least he protected his family. Things changed for the better when Stern left his family in 1972 to attend Boston University. There, he met his future wife, Allison. Stern says he has remained faithful to her despite, in his words, her PMS and her Yenta friends and her snoring and her lunches at the country club. With Allison's love and support, Stern honed his craft in a succession of radio jobs in small markets. It was in the nation's capital at the dawn of the Reagan era that Stern first teamed up with his constant sidekick, Robin Quivers. She, too, gave him the support he had longed for as a child. And then, New York City and a job at WNBC Radio. Finally, he had the approval he craved from an audience of millions. Humorous skits like Butt Bongo and Lesbian Dial-A-Date and frequent jokes about his small penis made him nationally famous. But it still wasn't enough for Howard Stern. Instead of mocking the headlines, he would now make them. Facing widespread suspicion of his motives, the frequently misunderstood Stern had this to say.
This is no disc jockey shtick. I swear to you, I am a serious candidate for the governor of New York.
The candidate is serious, but will he be taken seriously by the voting public? Only time and the ballot box will tell.
First issue I'm fed up with is...
Radio personality Howard Stern takes a page from the Clinton-Gore Buzz campaign to take the message to the street and to the people. Stern begins his journey on the winding road to the governor's office, carrying the hopes and dreams of the Libertarian Party in his baggage. Will voters want to come along for the ride? Only time will tell.
I'm going to fix the roadways at night. I'm going to stagger tolls, and I am going to bring back the death penalty. Once that's accomplished, I'll step down, and I will let my lieutenant governor take over.
One of his campaign promises is to make all road crews work only at night so commuting is easier. Do you agree?
I agree with that. Pedestrians crossing the street, a lot of traffic, cars, trucks, and it's a safety hazard for us workers out here during the day.
Oh, it's less danger at night, but, you know, then you can't see what you're doing either.
Howard Stern has also proposed filling potholes with the bodies of executed criminals. Do you think that would work?
Yes and no.
No comment.
Are potholes the biggest cause for hubcap loss?
After this winter, definitely. With the way the roads are now, there's always something knocking hubcaps off, so people are always looking to buy them.
Is there any particular hubcap that would be a Howard Stern hubcap you'd like to show him?
Probably the best would be the Rolls-Royce.
Howard Stern feels that toll booth lines are too long. Do you agree with this?
Long lines are a bad thing. I wouldn't want to wait on a long line on a toll booth if he wants to do something to correct it. But if it's going to put people out of work, then, you know, it's not a good thing to do.
People coming through here, do they get angry when it gets backed up?
Very angry.
The lines here get pretty long sometime, and they get very angry. I vote for him if he can cut down the lines and keep the people from cursing us out all the time.
This program is brought to you by MasterCard.
Some credit card companies act like you just touch their cards and suddenly you're transported to a magical fantasy land where everyone speaks French and has 1% body fat. I mean, come on. You use MasterCard at the gas station. Some wonderland, huh? Actually, it is a wonderland. I mean, where else can you fill the tank, get directions, and microwave a burrito all at the same time? And it's smart to use MasterCard because you can keep track of all your spending with one useful monthly statement, which really is ideal. So I guess the gas station is nirvana, only a lot easier to get to. MasterCard, it's more than a credit card, it's smart money.
We have just one word for the new Whopper Jr. at Burger King. Bigger. You already know it's flame broiled and fixed your way. But the one thing you didn't know is that the Whopper Jr. now has 50% more beef. And because we figured one great improvement deserved another, the new Whopper Jr. is just 99 cents every day. The new 99-cent Whopper Jr. at Burger King. We may not be the world's #1 fast food place.
Welcome to Burger King.
It just tastes that way.
From across the seas, Beck's delivers the grand tradition and taste of the German art of brewing. Beck's, the #1 imported German beer.
With a hot dog?
When I'm fishing with my son.
When I'm fishing with my brother?
After sitting in traffic for hours and it's so hot I could just...
Bubbly.
I could drink these all day. A really, really nice thing to make somebody root beer float.
Lying on the couch?
On the front porch with family.
Yes.
It's good stuff.
That sounds nice to me.
Watch Politically Incorrect, the show where guests don't shut up when they should.
No woman should go outside of her house without a machine gun.
Tonight at 11:30 at Comedy Central.
There is nothing that Howard Stern wants to do that he can't do, particularly if his mother is behind him.
And so the journey begins, as the Stern campaign sets out from the concrete jungle of New York City through the bustling village of Harlem. As the motorcade makes its way north under the noonday sun, expectations are high. Excitement builds as the caravan heads through the quiet hamlet of Newburgh. Though it is only April, thoughts of fall, of November, and Election Day are as relentless as the turning of wheels of the bus on the way to Socrates. Have the residents of this quaint town ever before known such enthusiasm? We think not. And just over the horizon, the ultimate destination, Albany, capital of the Empire State. And as the Odyssey continues, so too does the metamorphosis of Howard Stern, from radio shock jock to credible political candidate, from bawdy entertainer to keeper of the public trust.
destiny, as bright as the hopes of New York's Libertarian Party and dark horse candidate Howard Stern. The question today, will the party faithful choose Stern for governor, or will they stick with one of the rank and file, someone who has toiled for years in total obscurity for libertarian causes? Literally dozens of Stern supporters have flocked to Albany for the moment of truth. They are confident their man will win, but there's no telling what they'll do if he loses.
With only an hour remaining before the Libertarian Convention begins, Stern makes a final attempt to prove he is, in fact, a sincere candidate.
If anybody has a question, I'd be happy to answer it. Then I have to get inside and hopefully take the nomination on the first ballot.
Who are your political role models, and will you assume the Nixon mantle?
Well, you know, I know that Nixon died today, and I think that it is appropriate that I am here sweating in front of you. As you can see, it's 190 degrees in here, and like Nixon, I am sweating profusely.
One more question, Mr.
Yeah.
Stern?
Yes.
How are you going to make it on a governor's salary?
Oh, I'm not going to make it on a governor's salary. As a matter of fact, I couldn't live on that for 2 minutes. My wife has 2 housekeepers and has all the food delivered to the house. What I'm going to do is, as a matter of fact, I don't even want a salary when I become governor. I'll take the governor's salary and I'll give it to Robin.
Oh, thank you.
But Stern's serious message is apparently lost on some of his supporters.
Hey, who wants to see my dildo? Look, my dildo. I got a dildo. Look, I got a dildo. Who wants to see my dildo?
Get him out of there, Gary. Get him off there. Get him off, Gary. Get him off. Get him off, Gary. He's gone. All right.
Howard Stern's march to the podium is greeted by an outpouring of emotion that makes the convention seem like a coronation. Despite the antics of his delegates, Stern takes the high road in his opening address.
I'm very impressed with the Libertarian Party and some of the things that are being said here today. For years, people have been saying to me that all of the things you've been saying on the radio are definitely in concordance with all of the libertarian rules. And in fact, libertarians for years have been saying, let's legalize drugs. I've been saying that for years. While I myself am not a drug taker, I stopped that years ago, although I did have a beer the other day. I believe that drugs are causing corruption in our society among the police. J. Edgar Hoover knew it. He wouldn't let the FBI be involved in drug investigations because he knew it would lead to corruption. Taking drugs and making them illegal are doing us no good. Look, as far as the things that are being said here today by the libertarians, I like what they have to say. I like that they're an alternative party. And if you're asking me if I'm a serious candidate, I didn't just drive 6 hours to come up here because I'm jerking off. Look at the poll. Already I have 20% of the vote, and it would have been higher if people thought I was serious. They will think I'm serious. And why will they think I'm serious? Number one, I am serious. You're friggin' right. I am going to run as a libertarian. Amen. I will win as a libertarian. In order to win, it means I have to have a legitimate and viable candidate running alongside of me, one that the mainstream will accept. It is time for libertarians to come into the mainstream and actually win an election, an important election, the most important election in this state. I'm taking this all the way to the governor's mansion. I am going to be the next governor of New York. I'm asking you not only to support me, I'm asking you to bring this party together. Get behind me. I'll give you votes like you've never seen before. We're going to win this. So I'm not going to go on. I'm not going to drone on. I'm not going to sit here and knock my other candidates and opponents, and I'm not going to do that because, you know what? I don't know too much about them. Give me your vote today. Make me the next governor. Thank you. Thank you.
Howard Stern is not the only funny man at the convention. Libertarians also display their trademark sense of humor.
I always consider myself a very strict Marxist. That's a Groucho Marxist. That is a Groucho Marxist, not a Karl Marxist.